Hello, everyone. A day full of love and blessings to all of us. Welcome back to MAED 203 Human Resource Management. We are Group 7. I am with Mr. Eddie Mabale and Miss Danica Cuevas. If you have reached this far, that means you are already in lesson number 7. So sit back, learn, enjoy, and relax. For today, we will be learning about the relationship between human resource management and the organizational performance. I am your presenter for this session, Charmy M. Pia. At the end of this video, we will be able to first identify the basis on the hypothesis about the importance of human resource management, then name the set of practice which contributes to the employee's performance, and define organizational performance. One of the main themes in the field of business strategy concerns with the competitiveness and the determinants of organizational performance. And here with us is the term RBV, or the resource-based view. This focuses on the development and exploitation of valuable, rare, and non-imitable resources, gives base to the hypothesis about the importance of human resource management to companies' competitiveness. According from Barney, Wright of 1998, Cuff of 1997, specialized human resources are valuable and potentially rare as they detain tacit knowledge built by socially complex mechanisms. Imitating these resources is also challenging, since its relationship with the organizational performance is uncertain and imprecise, or in other words, because they contain a casual ambiguity. What is human resource management, by the way? It was said that it is one of the functional areas of management. Other definition is that it includes a variety of activities associated with management of human resource. And according from Lepak et al. Of 2006, it is a key player in the creation and development of a highly productive workforce, lies in the center of the debate on the competitiveness of businesses. Practices that promote employee motivation and effort, knowledge, skills, and abilities, and opportunities for employees' contribution generate favorable conditions for the development of resources and capabilities that create value for organizations, contributing to their performance and to the emergence of sustained competitive advantages. These statements are according from Barney Wright of 1998, Hughes Lead of 1995, and McMahon-McWilliams of 1994. And this set of practices is what we call High Performance Work Systems, or the HPWS. And now, let us move further to the organizational performance. What is it? According from Combs, Crook, Shook of 2005, Richard et al. Of 2009, and Venkatraman Ramanujam of 1986, it is a multidimensional and complex concept whose excessive simplification can prevent the assessment of management results. On the other hand, it is the use of unique variables of profitability brings an oversimplification of a complex and multivariate construction. This is according from Combs, Crook, Shook 2005, and Richard et al. Of 2009. In addition, financial performance measures do not represent the operational performance of the company and are more subject to the process of value appropriation on the part of the actors involved. Moving on, we are in the business strategy and human resources. In a layman's term, the word strategy is a plan that you use to achieve something. In connection, the heterogeneity of the organizational performance can be explained by: first, the choice and positioning in a given sector, from Porter of 1985. Another is by the development of valuable, rare, and non-imitable resources, from Barney of 1991, and by the development of routines and dynamic capabilities, and this is from Teese, Pisano, and Schoon of 1997. While the external analysis reveals the attractiveness of each industry, it is in the company's resources and capabilities that one can acknowledge the uniqueness of its attributes and explain differences in performance between companies of the same sector. And this is from Barney Arikan of 2001. The resource-based view, or RBV, envisions the company as a collective of fungible resources developed eternally or in interaction with partners in a singular and idiosyncratic manner to each company and interaction. The time and social complexity involved in the development of resources are some of the attributes that makes them rare and difficult to imitate. This is according from Barney of 1991. In a successful strategy, valuable resources are not easily replicated by competitors because they are the result of a unique development path. In addition, as their relationship with performance is not clear or direct, there is a causal ambiguity between resources and performance. These are according from Barney of 1991 and Lyrics, Cool of 1989. Resources and capabilities bring focus to inside the organization and its interaction with a changing and unstable environment. According to the results-based view, human resources of an organization can contribute to superior performance and become a source of sustainable competitive advantage as long as they are valuable, rare, and difficult to imitate. This is according from Barney Wright of 1998. Human resources have the potential to contain these attributes if we consider the value of a highly skilled workforce, the relative scarcity of qualified professionals, and that the explicit and tacit knowledge of employees are built over time and through socially complex mechanisms. In this case, the role of human resources management would reside precisely in the construction and development of a workforce, also referred to as human assets, or popularly known as the human capital. When we say human capital or human assets, it simply refers to the competent, the motivated, and the employees who are able to generate superior results. And this is called the strategic human resource management. And let's wrap it all up. I hope you learned a thing or two from this video. And please do remember this, that great vision without great people is irrelevant. from Jim Collins. Thank you so much for watching. Keep safe and God bless everyone.
Hello, good morning. I am Eddie S. Mabali from Group 7, Lesson number 7, the relationship between human resource management and organizational performance. And my topic is all about strategic management of human resource and organizational performance. Come on, let's talk, listen, and participate. Good day, everyone. In continuation with our first reporter, with our topic, the relationship between human resource management and organizational performance. And my topic is all about strategic management of human resource and organizational performance. And here is my objectives at the end of this report. We are able to define the strategic management of human resource and organizational performance. Second, we are able to identify the components of strategic human resource management and the difference between strategic human resource management and human resource strategy. Third, determine the factors that affect organizational performance. And lastly, we're able to appreciate the value of human resource in the organization. Now, let's define first what is the strategic management of human resource. Strategic human resource management is the process of linking the human resource function with the organization's strategic objectives to improve performance. Attracting and keeping talented and skilled employees is one of the most important challenges organizations face in today's dynamic business world. Strategic human resource management is the proactive management of people to the desired value to them. It is designed to help companies better meet the needs of their employees while promoting company goals. And according to Armstrong, strategic human resource management is an approach to making decisions on the intentions and plans of the organization concerning the employment relationship and the organization's recruitment, training, development, performance management, and the organization's strategy, policies, and practices. No matter how well designed, no strategy will work unless the organization has the right people with the right skills and behaviors, in the right roles, motivated in the right way, and supported by the right leaders. A company can develop a competitive advantage through the skills and competencies of its people. Several commentators have argued that the concept of strategic human resource management has evolved as a bridge between business strategy and the management of human resource. An organization gains a competitive advantage by using its people effectively, drawing on their expertise and ingenuity to meet clearly defined objectives. HR strategies combine all people management and activities into an organized and integrated program to meet the strategic objectives. The four components of strategic human resource. Strategic human resource focuses on the actions of differentiate from the firms of its competitors. So here is the four components. It focuses on an organization's human resources or people as the primary source of the organization's competitive advantage. The activities highlight the HR programs, policies, and practices as the means through which the organization's people can be deployed to gain a competitive advantage. The pattern and plan imply a fit between HR strategy and the organization's business strategy, and between all HR activities. And the people, practices, and planned patterns are all purposeful, directed towards the achievement of the organizational goals. So here is the picture or the graph, the diagram. Human resource management. First, primary source of competitive advantage. Second, activities. So, HR programs and practices are the means for deploying people of a firm to gain competitive advantage. Then third, pattern and plan. There is a fit between HR strategy and the firm's business strategy and between all HR activities. Last is purposeful. People, activities, and plans are directed towards the achievement of organizational goals. With all, on the whole, so the SHRM is concerned with people's issues and practices that affect or affected by the organization's strategic plan. The critical issue facing an organization in the contemporary environment are mainly human issues, such as ensuring the availability of people, retaining, motivating, and developing these resources. To stay ahead of its competitors, an organization will continuously look for ways to gain an edge over others. Today, an organization competes for less on products or markets and more on people. So, the competition is not more, no more in products, no? They compete more in people because they hire the strategic people, the skillful people, and the more knowledgeable people. So in the 21st century, there is increasing recognition among management thinkers and practitioners of the potential of human capital resources in providing a competitive advantage. Okay. So, an organization uses a combination of several resources, the tangible and the intangible resources. So the quality of human resources and their contributions to the organizations determine the performance and therefore the organization's practices. So these are the resources can be grouped into three basic types. First is the physical capital resources or the plant, equipment, and finances. We cannot build any business or any organizations without the plant, the equipment, and its finances. Second is the organizational capital resources. The organization's structure, planning, HR systems, history, and organizational culture. Third is the human capital resources, the skills, knowledge, judgment, and intelligence of the organization's employee. This is what I have said a while ago, that many of the organizations or the company today, they are not compete in the products, they compete for the people. Just like the skills, knowledge, judgment, and intelligence of the organization's employees, which is the intangible combination. An organization may have huge capital and the most advanced machinery, but if it does not have capable, motivated, and high-performing employees, the organization is not likely to demonstrate sustained levels of high performance. Since all physical and capital resources depend on people for their efficient use, maintenance, and management, the quality of an organization's people is important in attaining a competitive advantage. So here is the traditional human resource management versus the strategic human resource management. First is the responsibility for HR programs. So for the traditional HRM, staff personnel in the HR department, while the SHRM, line managers, all managers responsible for the people are HR managers. Focus of activities. So the traditional employee relations, ensuring employee motivation and productivity, compliance with laws, while the SHRM, partnerships with internal and external and groups. For the role of human resource, reactive and transactional for the traditional, while the SHRM is proactive and transformational change leader. For the initiative for change, which is slow, piecemeal, and fragmented, not integrated with larger issues, while the SHRM, fast, flexible, and systematic change initiatives implemented in concert with other HR systems. The time horizon, the traditional is short-term, while the SHRM consider various time frames as necessary, the short, medium, or the long-term. For the control, the traditional is bureaucratic control through rules, procedures, and policies, and the SHRM, organic control through flexibility as few restrictions on employee behavior as possible. For the job design, the traditional focuses on scientific management principles, the division of labor, independence, and specialization, while the SHRM, broad job design, flexible teams and groups, and cross-training. The importance of investment. So, the traditional is capital, products, technology, and finance. So, this is what we call traditional, very traditional. No, they more invest. They give more important of their investment from capital, the products, the technology, and the finances that they have. But unlike the SHRM, the people and their knowledge, skills, and abilities, they put more investment on these people, on their people, the skills of their people, the knowledge of their people. That's why they more compete for people. Accountability, cost center, and the investment center. The difference between the SHRM and the strategies. The term strategic human resource management and human resource strategies are often used interchangeably. However, some distinctions can be made between the two. In a general sense, the difference between SHRM and HR strategies is similar to that between strategic management and corporate business strategies. Both the strategic human resource management and the strategic management describe an approach adapted by the management and focus on long-term issues and provide direction. So human resource strategy and business strategies are outcomes of this approach, focusing on the organizational view concerning key issues and specific functions or activities. So here is the difference between the two, the SHRM and the HR strategies. So while the SHRM is a general approach to the strategic management of human resource, aligned with the organizational intentions about its future direction, focus on long-term people issues, defines the areas in which specific HR strategies need to be developed, focus on a macro concern such as structure, culture, and strategic HRM decisions are built into the strategic business plan. While the HR strategies, outcome or the manifestation of the general SHRM approach, focus on a specific organizational intention about what needs to be done. Focus on specific issues that facilitate the achievement of corporate strategy, and human resource strategy decisions are derived from SHRM. So the essential features of SHRM. So SHRM regarded as the overarching concepts that links the management and the individuals with the organization to the business and its environment. So in this way, the essential features of the SHRM can be summarized as follows. First, there is an explicit linkage of some kind between HR policy and practices and the overall organizational environment. There are organizing schema linking individual HR interventions so that they are mutually supportive. Third is much of the responsibility for the management of human resources is cascaded down the line. So the key characteristics of strategic human resource management is that it is integrated. HR strategies are generally integrated vertically with the business strategy and horizontally with one another. So the HR strategies developed by the strategic HRM approach are essential components of the organization's business strategy. The fact that SHRM has emerged indicates that there is some qualitative difference between HRM and the SHRM. Principle of SHRM. So, according to Price, the 1997 mentioned the 10 principles of SHRM, which he claimed and measurable in some way can be used for benchmarking. So first, principle of comprehensiveness, meaning HRM should be closely matched to business objectives. Second, principle of coherence, meaning allocation and activities of HR integrated into a meaningful whole. Third, principle of control, meaning effective organizations require a control system for cohesions and directions. Fourth is the principle of communication. Strategies understood and accepted by all employees, open culture with no boundaries. Fifth, principle of credibility. Staffs trust top management and believe in their strategies. Sixth, principle of commitment. Employees motivated to achieve organizational goals. Principle of change. Continuous improvement and development essential for survival. Principle of competence. Organizations competent in achieving their objectives dependent on individual competence. 9 is the principle of creativity. Competitive advantage comes from unique strategies. And principle of cost effectiveness, competitive fair reward and promotion system. So that is the 10 principles that being mentioned by Price of 1997 that we can use or the organization can use as for benchmarking. Now let's proceed to the essential elements of SHRM. So, the above discussed or the past slide discussed about the theoretical perspective have identified the elements necessary in developing SHRM with the firm. First, transforming HR staff. So there exists a significant difference in the skills needed by the HR staff in traditional and strategic orientation to HRM. In traditional HRM, the staff had to be specialized in certain functional areas like interviewing, recruiting, and training. So, the strategic human resource management role played by HR professionals is change management, involving strategic planning, team building, having a global perspective. No? So, the HR staff is being transformed. Okay. Usually, the work of the HR is for interviewing, recruiting, and training only for the people or for the employee they hired. While in the strategic, they involve more on performing, which is they involve in strategic planning. They involve also in team building and having a global perspective. So more HR units will face a significant transformation to manage human resource with a new strategic view. Second is the transforming the organizational structure. So in transforming the HR structure from traditional to strategic human resource management, it is common for the organizational unit to restructure, no? To restructure siya. So the major issue in designing a new strategic HRM unit is determining whether, no, kung i-centralize or decentralize ba ang function ni HR. So the relevant structure for the HR function depends on the nature of the firm business, the size of the firm, and the firm's overall business strategy. So in some organizations, a centralized structure for the HR unit would be appropriate, and in some, highly decentralized HRM may be necessary. So regardless of which particular structure has been used, no, so the key element is in the successful transformation from traditional HR to strategic human resource management is to find a structure that meets the pressing needs of business strategy and allows the HR unit to provide services designed to help the firm achieve strategic objectives. third is enhancing administrative efficiency. So, according to Dave Ulrich of 1996, suggested that one of the key roles of HR staff is to be administrative experts. So, maging expert into administration. So, an administrative expert, so the HR staff members must take an active role in engineering, administrative, and other process within the firm and find ways to share services more effectively. So the objective is to increase the HR service efficiency and save money. So instead of the hiring for the engineer, the hiring for administrative, the legal processes, so it will be put into HR, no? Kaya para they can utilize the skills of our HR to transform into the strategic human resource. So that the several processes are needed to enhance the administrative experts of HR units. They focus on first, the improving the administrative efficiency by targeting current process for the improvement of examining the gaps between as is and process and what is system needs to be done. Administrative efficiency can also be enhanced by developing centralized HR services that are shared throughout the organization. The ultimate process involves HR staff rethinking how they create value to the firm in the terms of value perceived by the customers rather than perceived by the provider of the program. Fourth, integrating HR into the strategic planning process. So, the strategic integration of HR requires a strategic planning process and the involvement of HR managers in the process. The development of a strategic plan involves top management with the help outside consultants to go through the analyze the current and future condition of the organization. To achieve full integration, to achieve that, HR managers should not only have the ability to influence the development and selection of information used in decision making, but should also have the ability to influence decision making. Kinahanglan po maka-influence siya for making the decisions, no? Not only nga siya lang mag-imo sa decision, but also is influence others. Influence the employee to have a decision making or the making decisions. Now, let's proceed to the organizational performance. So, let's define what is the organizational performance. Organizational performance is means the actual output of results of the organizations as measured against its intended outputs or the goals and the objectives. Then, according to Richard, the organizational performance includes the more specific areas of firm outcomes for the performance, the financial performance, which is the profit, the return or assets or investments, the product market performance, and the shareable return. So, in recent years, many organizations have attempted to manage organizational performance using the balanced scorecard methodology, where performance is tracked and measured in multiple dimensions. Okay, so the financial performance or the shareholder return, the customer service, the social responsibility, and employee stewardships. So the organizations itself does not perform any work, but it's also managers are performing their assigned works, and in combination of these performed works is called organizational performance. So some factors are to be performed by organizations such as human and cultural factors, the technology, the natural resources, the economic factors, regulatory measures, markets, and so many. So in a combination of these resources, the organizations get some outcomes such as effectiveness, efficiency, development, and participant satisfaction. So let's tackle about the factors. Factors of organizational performance. So what are those factors? What kind of factors that can able to affect the performance or the whole performance in the organization? So organizations vary according to the relative influence of number of factors, no? Related to both objectives of the organization and the instrument and strategies chosen to achieve them. So these are the factors. First, we have the external factors. Those from enabling environments which are not under the control of organization, but which affect the structure and development. So they include the economic factors. So this is not control. They are not under control of the company, no. But it can affect the structure and development of the organization or the company. The socio-economic factors, of course. The political administrative factors, of course. It has great great effect, no, contribution to one's environment or to one's organization that cannot handle by the management. We have the okay, so we have a next we have the internal factors that affect in the performance of the organization. So the internal factors, organizational characteristics, include the purpose of the organization. What is the purpose of the organization? No? To the people, to the employee. Organizational instrument, what instrument do you use? No? So it can deal more factors. This is the internal factors. And of course, the individual choice factors, members, joint or individual decisions regarding expected cost and the benefits. So older studies, especially no, na mga study 1970s ago, so focused on the influence of the internal factors, while more recent work has emphasized for the importance of three sets of factors. So now let's proceed to the organizational performance model. So the casual model of organization performance, okay, and change, or the Burke and Letwin model suggest linkages that hypothesize how performance is affected by internal and external factors. So it provides a framework to assess organizational and environmental dimensions that are keys to successful change. And also, it demonstrates how these dimensions should be linked casually to achieve a change in performance. So the casual mode links what could be understood from practice to what is known from research and theories. So the model not only discusses how different dimensions link with each other, but also discusses how the external environment affects the different dimensions in an organization. The model focuses on providing a guide for both organizational diagnosis and planned managed organizational change, one that clearly shows cause and effect relationships. So the organizational performance, we have the outline of the model. So the model revolves around the 12 organizational dimensions. We have the external environment, mission and strategy, leadership, organizational culture, structure, management practices, systems, work and climate, task and individual skills, individual needs and values, motivation, and individual and organizational performance. So the model are also distinguished between transformational and transactional organizational dynamics in organizations. So, internal and external environment of organizational performance. Environmental factors play a major role in determining an organization's success or failure. Managers should strive to maintain the proper alignment between their organizations and their environment. So all organizations have both external and internal environment. An organization's internal environment is composed to the elements within the organization, including current employees, management, and especially corporate culture, which defines employees' behavior. Although, some elements affect the organizations as a whole, others affect only by the manager. So, a manager's philosophical or leadership style directly impacts employees. Traditional managers give explicit instructions to employee, while progressive managers empower the employees to make many of their own decisions. So changes in philosophy and leadership style are under the control of the manager. So the following sections describe some of the elements that make up the internal environment. So the internal environment consists of the organization's owners, the board of directors, the employees' physical environment, and culture. What are the internal factors that affect organizational performance? So the internal factors over which management and employees both have a great deal of control. So the internal factors over management and employees have a great deal of control. So human resource management appears as the center of the internal factors because the effective use of human resources is of primary importance to the organization's survival and long-term success. People form the organization, and people manage the processes that creates the product or service for which the organization is in the business. So in particular, management has extensive control over the organization's human resources, policies, and practices, the financial, technological, and physical resources it uses. It structures management's philosophy and leadership style. So let's mention the environmental factors that affect HR activities. So environmental factors are as follows, which affect the HR activities of the organization. So we have the external factors comprised by the political and legal and technological. Internal factors comprise strategy or the task and leadership, organizational culture and conflict, and professional bodies. That's all for today, and I will give the floor to my next reporter. Thank you. Hello, good morning. I am Eddie S. Mabali from Group 7, Lesson number 7, the relationship between human resource management and organizational performance. And my topic is all about strategic management of human resource and organizational performance. Come on, let's talk, listen, and participate.
Good day, classmates, especially to our instructor, Dr. Flores. I am Ms. Danica Escuevas, your presenter for today. My topic is the continuation of the Lesson 7 entitled The Relationship of Human Resource Management in Organizational Performance. To start my topic, let me state to you today's objectives. At the end of the lesson, you are expected to first, determine what is human resource management and organizational performance. Second, understand the 3 specific areas of firm outcome. Third, identify the relationship between HRM practices to organizational performance. And lastly, note how HRM plays a significant role in organizational performance. Now, according to Ricky Griffin, human resource management is the set of organizational activities directed at attracting, developing, and maintaining an effective workforce. So, we have learned a lot of definition of HRM from the previous reporters. It talks about the well-being of the people working in an organization, and also involves all management decisions and actions that affect the relationship between the organization and its employees. In other words, it is human resources. So how about organizational performance? What do we mean by organizational performance? Organizational is the adjective of organization. When we say organization, it is an organized group of individuals with a specific purpose. Performance, on the other hand, is the process or action of performing a function or task. So we perceive it according to how successfully the people carry out that function. So to combine these words, organizational performance means how successfully an organized group of people with a specific purpose perform a function. According to Richard, organizational performance encompasses three specific areas of firm outcome. First, we have financial performance. It measures a company's operations and policies in monetary terms. In other words, it is in terms of value in dollars, pounds, euros, or other currencies. So here are the following questions being addressed under financial performance. How is the company's financial health? What was the return of investment or assets and value added? And last, have debts increased or declined? Next, product market performance. It measures how well a company or product performs in the marketplace. In other words, whether a product market share has risen. If product upgrades, it helps boost sales. So these questions also are asked under product market performance. Has the company gained or lost a market share? Are there new products or upgrades in the pipeline? Did product upgrades boost sales? Lastly, we have here shareholder return. It looks at how much a company enriches its shareholders. In fact, many says it is the ultimate organizational performance measure. It is the ultimate measure of company success. So the questions being asked under shareholder return is the company making shareholders richer? Now, let's talk about human resource management practices and organizational performance. There are several HRM practices which have potential to improve and sustain the organizational performance. Human resource management does not only have a limited role in the organization, rather, it is to support the organizational goal and objectives. Let us define first what is best practices. Best practices are a set of human resources management processes and actions that work universally. In HRM research, there are two schools of thought on how to manage people. The first one is the best fit, and the second is the best practices. What is the best fit? The best fit school states that to add value, human resource policies should align with business strategy. This means that HR should focus on both the needs of the organization and the ones of its employees. So best fit focus on the needs of the organization and of course the employees. How about best practices? The best practice school argues that there is a set of universal HR processes that led to superior business performance. According to its proponents, there are certain bundles of HR activities that support companies in reaching a competitive advantage, regardless of the organizational setting or industry. That is according to Redman and Wilkinson of 2009. According to Deshiri of 2008, human resource management indicates the policies, practices, and procedures that persuade the behaviors, attitudes, and also performance of employees. A number of studies have tested the linkage between human resource management practices and performance of organization with generally helpful results. In fact, existing researches in this area has changed its focus from testing the linkage between several human resource management practices and the performance of organizations to find out the means from which human resource management practices affects the performance of the organization. Busili of 2005 also has the same view about it. There are a large number of best practices that have shown to lead to superior performance for the organization. If HR executes these practices correctly, they will add substantial value to the business and its goals. That is, implement best practices. These best practices are applied to different HR functions such as performance management and learning and of course development. Now, we'll go over the 7 best practices for HR. So these are the crucial to effective human resource management. The 7 human resource best practices presented below have been proposed by Jeffrey Pieper. First, providing security to employees. It is the first human resource best practice is employment security. So, life is unpredictable and work is a stable factor that is very important to most people. Having an employer who enables the employee to provide for themselves and their family is essence. It is the number one reason why people come to work. Employment security enables also employees to go home after work and provide for themselves and their families. Indeed, providing employment security is important to employee. Second is selective hiring. Hiring the right people. The second HR best practice is selective hiring. This enables an organization to bring in employees who add value. You can just hire anyone you want, people who are fit for the job. Companies do their utmost best to hire exceptional people because they add the most value to the business. There also needs to be a prioritization of building a structured and fair selection process. Research shows that the difference in performance between an average performer and a high performer can be as high as 400%. This holds for different industries and job types, including researchers, entertainers, and athletes. Bringing in the right people is therefore a key to building a competitive advantage. So in today's digital world, there are a lot of different recruitment tools we can use to make the right selection. More and more companies vigorously keep track of the recruitment metrics to see how well they are doing in this regard. Commonly used selection instruments are structured and unstructured interviews, IQ tests, personality assessments, work tests, peer assessments, and reference checks. So these assessments are used to uncover 3 key candidate characteristics. First is ability. It is the person able to do the job. Does the person have the right technical and soft skills? Is the person smart enough to do the job well? Trainability. Can we train this person to improve his or her skills? Has the person the aptitude to learn and keep developing? Commitment. Will the person commit to his or her work and to the organization? Will we be able to retain this person once he or she is up to speed and fully productive? Okay, number 3 is self-managed and effective teams. We all know that teamwork is crucial in achieving goals. High-performance teams are crucial for any company when it comes to achieving success. So teams provide value because they consist of people who are and think differently but are working towards a common goal. This means that different ideas are generated to help achieve the goal. These ideas are then processed and combined, resulting in the best ones being selected. Effective HRM includes directly supporting teamwork by involvement in how teams are organized. This can be done in several ways. First is measuring team performance, rewarding team excellence, and advising management on techniques and tools to facilitate teamwork are some methods. Individual personality assessment also helps understand how other team members think and behave. Understanding these processes is one of the main responsibilities of a manager. So this is the reason why a lot of management courses focus on it. Number 4 is fair and performance-based compensation. Contingent compensation is the fourth human resource best practice. It has everything to do with, first of all, if you hire the right people, you want to compensate them above average. These are the people that will add the most value to your company, so you want to retain them and pay them fairly. So this is an example that shows how different best practices work together to provide more value than they would alone. In this case, selective hiring, contingent compensation, and employment security. This sort of compensation package can take the form of financial pay and employee benefits. Number 5, training in relevant skills. This HR best practice states that companies should invest heavily in the training time and budget for its employees. So, diba, after recruiting the best people, you need to ensure that they remain the front runners in the field. This has become even more relevant today as the rate at which technology is developing and is growing exponentially. This is where learning and development come in. How do we create an organization in which the rate of learning matches the pace of change? So learning has become a way to stay innovative, grow faster, and sustain a competitive advantage. Employers increasingly invest in skill-specific forms of training. According to The Economist Lifelong Learning Special Report, the number of on-demand courses has grown exponentially. Diba, thanks to the internet, everyone is connected and can learn anything, anytime, anywhere. So learning is also becoming increasingly important for the latest generations, such as the Millennials and Generation Z. So according to Gallup, younger employees rate learning and personal growth as much more important compared to older generations. Number 6 is creating a flat and egalitarian organization. So this best practice in HR principles is rooted in the egalitarian practices of Japanese management. So, although we just saw that some employees are more critical than others for the organization's success, this shouldn't be communicated in such a way. Every employee is a valuable member of the organization and should be treated as such. So, in Japanese organizations, this is expressed with common canteens, company uniforms, and similar sickness and holiday entitlement. So such egalitarian culture shows that everyone deserves equal respect and could help in promoting the sharing of ideas. Lastly, number 7, making information easily accessible to those who need it. So information sharing is essential. This is an area where a lot of large companies struggle. How do you keep track of who knows what, or so you know where to go with your questions? So according to Pieper, there are 2 reasons why information sharing is so important. First, often communication about strategy, financials, and operations creates a culture which people feel they are trusted. So it truly involves employees in the business. As an additional effect, it discourages hearsay and negative informal chatter. Secondly, if you want your people to share their ideas, they need to have an informed understanding of what's going on in the business. So So being informed about the business is also something that employees often mention as something they find important in attitude surveys, as well as having a chance to contribute to and influence decisions affecting their working life. So now, here are the 7 practices of HR that contributes or that relates to organizational performance. How HRM plays a significant role in organizational performance. Companies that are highly skilled in core HR practices experience up to 3.5 times the revenue growth and as much as 2.1 times the profit margins of less capable companies. So, the more highly skilled are in the companies, the more the company develops. So, HRM can have a direct impact on organizational performance in many ways. Some of them includes reducing unnecessary overtime expenses by increasing productivity. Just like for example, if an employee is skilled enough to do his or her functions, he or she can be able to finish his functions ahead of time, and that avoid unnecessary overtime. Next is instituting programs to reduce absenteeism. So how can program reduce absenteeism? Maybe in a way in which with the help of these programs, he or she will be able to fulfill his duties more because of the additional learning or additional training and etc. Another is eliminating wasted time through sound job design. So a job that is interesting or full of encouragement, a job where employees' worth is recognized. Next is minimizing employee turnovers and unemployment costs by practicing sound human relation. So through proper human relation, the employee improved not only because of the compensation but because of the people around them, the kind of people around them. Creating a work atmosphere that promotes job satisfaction. So, job satisfaction also comes from the individual you are working with. So, if you feel you belong, if you feel you are encouraged, your work is recognized, then you stay. And installing and monitoring effective safety and health programs, especially in this time where health is wealth. So there should be programs on health and safety. So we also have here properly training and developing employees. Employees should be well trained, especially if there are any seminars or webinars that they should be engaged into. So this will help them boost their performance or their functions in an organization. Next is decreasing costly material waste by eliminating bad work habits and attitudes. So of course, attitude in work is really important. So attitude will always be considered in recruiting an employee, which can maybe seen through training and etc. Hiring the best people available. So an organization will definitely choose the best people that could be part in a company because the best people, of course, contribute best to the company. Next is maintaining competitive pay practices and benefits program. Of course, aside from the compensation, which is one of the most important for the employee, benefits is also good, that an employee can receive. Next is encouraging employees. Okay, so encouragement also boosts employees' eagerness to work better on his or her function. So when an employee is encouraged, this made them feel that they are worth it and they are given importance. And lastly, installing human resource information system to streamline many human resource functions. Okay, so that was it. Alright, that's the end of my discussion, and these are my references. I hope that you have learned something from my discussion, even a little learning from my discussion. And thank you. you all for your time and for your listening. Have a good day, everyone.